Okay, time for round 2 to see if I cannot get this to work. Hi guys, can you hear me? Let me see real quick. Can y'all hear me? Testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. Hold on. See, this is why I don't live stream very much, guys. I'm so bad at it. I'm sorry, I'm so bad at this. Let me see. I wish I could check on my phone. But yeah, it should be good now. Hold on. I'm gonna text someone real quick and see if they can check for me. Give me 1 second here, guys. Let's see. So I think the audio is working. I did try to check it. So, and I think what happened was I forgot to switch over the channels. Like there were like 2 audio channels, and I accidentally had the second one on and not the first one. So, yeah, just give me 1 second. See, this is why I don't do live streaming. I'm so bad at it. I cannot get this stuff to work to save my life, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so stressed out. Every time I do this, I get so stressed out. It's just ridiculous. I'm sorry, guys. Well, at least the avatar is moving and that's working. It says it's public. I might have to like adjust like the hashtags and stuff, but I just want to make sure people can hear me before I start talking about stuff. So, I need to share this again somehow. Hold on. That's the thing, like, is if you use Streamlabs, like, it doesn't really make it easy to check stuff like when you're streaming. That's the one thing that I wish they did better with. Hi, can you hear me? Please let me know if you can hear me. Because I'm just kind of like trying to problem solve this, and when you guys tell me you can't hear me in the chat, there's not like a whole lot I can do except like shut down the stream. Okay, good. Okay, we're all good to go now. Thank God. All right, hi guys. I hope you're doing well tonight. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like this would be a good idea. So, to kind of talk a bit about the behind the scenes of the podcast. I've had some people kind of talk to me about this lately, and I'm like, um, good. You can hear me. Thank Christ. And this is why, guys, I don't stream. Just that I'm so bad at this. I'm so goddamn bad at this. It's terrible. So thank you for being here. Thank you for always being my saving grace, Miss Garcia. God bless you, hon. I don't know what I would do without you. So, you and Tay both just definitely helped me out tremendously. So, but I want to get a few more people in here before I start showing things and doing things. But, yeah, the podcast has been going really well. Last week's episode with, Robert was a doozy for me. I think I bit off a little bit more than I could chew. It was a lot. I think I went into it thinking it wasn't going to be as big as it was, but it turned out to be a lot more than I thought it was, and it was just kind of just a lot to get done very, very quickly. So that's what I kind of want to be talking a bit about today, is talking about that whole process, because it's kind of in a change. It's kind of like in a development change right now. So, but yeah, I know. Yeah, like I know people who stream have problems. It's just so embarrassing for me. It's kind of like a kind of like a hit to my ego is because I'm so used to like double checking things and making sure things look good, sound good when it's all like put out there publicly, and I can't really do that when it comes to streaming. So it definitely sets off my anxiety and makes me feel like I am incompetent when I see you guys spamming me in the chat saying you can't hear me, and I'm like, oh god, this is just like my worst nightmare. So that's why I like recording things first and then posting them, because I can check all my bases, make sure things are good. Let me text Tay real quick here, let her know that I'm live. But I just want to get a few more people in here if I can, and then I'll start kind of like going through everything real quick. Give me 1 second. But how are you doing, Miss Garcia? Did you have a good holiday? And I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving and a pretty awesome Black Friday. I was gonna do Black Friday shopping, but I was just so busy with a ton of stuff, and I just didn't have time. But yeah, so mine was pretty good. Not the best, but it was okay. But I was just chilling with some friends this year. Sometimes the holidays can be tough for me, guys. Sometimes holidays can be tough for me with my family. But you know, I still had a nice holiday with some of my very close friends, so that was still good. So but I hope things are good for you guys. So yeah. So let's start with some of the interview questions. Let's see if I can pop that up. You said yours was extremely hectic. Yeah, mine was too. Well, not like in a like crazy way, but just, you know, I don't know. The holidays always make it really hard for my family. Like it always brings out a lot of drama. So, and that's kind of what happened this year. Drama came up, and I was like, yeah, it just kind of got hard for me. But you know, nobody's perfect. You know, some people's families dynamics are just more difficult and more challenging, and that's kind of the boat I've been in. So, but other than that, I still had a good holiday. So, but yeah, I was watching the stream with most of you guys when they went live yesterday, and that was fun, and I'm glad that they did that. So that kind of gave me something to do too. So but yeah, let's just jump into this. Hopefully more people will join in. So the whole interview process, what I do is, again, most of these people that are coming on the show I've either worked with for years, I've known for years, or I've followed them for years and they know me. And that's kind of how the process starts, is that I will contact people that I have known for a long time, and you know, I get the ball rolling. I say, hey, do you want to come on the talk show? And they'll say yes or no. And chances are they'll say yes. So then what I do is, through knowing the person, or if I don't know the person, I haven't really had that happen before, where I haven't had a guest come on that I haven't really known yet. I do know that's going to come up eventually, where I'm going to have people on the show that I really don't know. And that kind of scares me. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. I guess Jacob was kind of in that boat, because I remember he was Andrew's friend, and I knew Andrew. And then he suggested that I bring his business partner Jacob on the show. Hi Guffy, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for like all the technical problems. I'm so bad at this. You're so much better at streaming than me. I feel so embarrassed, guys. I feel so embarrassed. But like I said, Jacob was the first person who I really didn't know very well on the show, so I had to take that whole week of time, so from like Monday to Friday, to like talk to him, get to know him. And then I was like chatting with him about like his career and his job, and kind of just going through the process of trying to select the best parts of his life or his career and then kind of put them into a script format. So that's what I was trying to do. So I'll show you guys that now. Hold on. Let me pop that up here. Good Lord. Hold on. Right here. Let me go to Jacob's notes. Hold on. All right, right here, I think. These Devons, or let's see. I gotta open this up real quick. Here, I'll just show these. I'll just show these on screen here for you guys. So let me show this. So this is kind of a template. I can't find Jacob's specifically. I think these might be his. So this is kind of a template of some of the questions I would ask, and it really just depends on the person and what they've done in their careers, what they've done in their lives, and you know, you just kind of have to pick and choose. Like, you have to combine them with, like, you know, questions that you know that people would ask or want to know, for one. And then number two, you kind of have to gauge, like, what are the most monumental things in their careers or their lives. I don't know how well you can see these. But this is kind of a template. These are kind of a template of some of the things that I would put down. So yeah, these I think are Jacob's questions. Yeah. So, and then for the main topics of discussion here, we talked about some of our favorite composers and stuff. So I normally would take that time to sit down and talk to them, and on Facebook. So with Jake, I kind of had to like kind of get to know him, and then I had to do like all this. So like with the genres, I asked him about genres and a bunch of different stuff. So but he mostly did audio stuff, so I had to gear kind of a lot of the questions towards that. And normally, like, if let's just say that if I bring someone onto the show and I know that they have a very very specific genre of what they do, I kind of combine those questions into what I know about them, and then I have to kind of like not make them up, but I have to kind of gear them towards what they've done. I guess if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you guys can hear me now. I'm sorry. God, I'm so embarrassed. I get so embarrassed doing this. I definitely need to get something to calm my nerves before doing this, because it is just so bad. Like even right now, I'm like trying so hard to just like stay calm. So I don't know why, but let me show you guys a bit of the I guess the editing process of some of this. So let me pull that up here. Let me bring this up. I know. Thank you, Guffy. I know. You're so sweet. Thank you. Just that I know you do such an amazing job. Like, just every time you go live, I'm always like, man, Guffy has her shit together. Guffy knows what she does. so I will kind of comb through some of this. and kind of show you guys a bit more in detail here. Let's zoom in here. Okay, so these are 2 tracks. These are 2 audio tracks. And then you have all this dialogue, all this goddamn dialogue. Oops, I actually didn't do that. Hold on. So I had to comb through all this dialogue and piece all of this crap together, guys. Look at all that. All that dialogue. That's insane, right? That took me, I don't even know how long, but it took me just a painfully long time just to go through all that. And then there were some parts where I had to like re-record my lines. I don't know if you can see that. They're pretty small, so like I guess I'll try to like zoom in here to like here. And like see that part here where I had to like re-record my dialogue, or it just popped up there. But yeah, all this was just such a mess. And then so all these photos I had to scan off of my phone, and I took screenshots of them, and then I put them into the computer. So that's kind of how I did it. And you know, I think Robert sent me some extra stuff too. Yeah, Slim, nice to see you, buddy. We're just kind of going through some of the behind the scenes of the podcast and how I kind of like put things together for people. But yeah, this whole process took a ridiculously long time. So I'll give you a rundown real quick of like where I was like doing all this. So the first 5 hours, I think I was about right here, guys. So right here. I was like maybe 10 to like 15% done, and like I was so stressed out, guys. I could not stop like just like going through like a huge like mental crisis, because I had no idea that I was going to have to put all this stuff together so fast. And like I was like telling myself, you can do this, you can do this. And so I think the first 5 hours I got probably around here to about here done. I know it's not popping up that well, but here, I'll try to zoom in here. I'll try to zoom in here and show you guys some. So yeah, I was around like this part here when I was like 5 hours into this, and I was having a mental breakdown. So, and then about maybe like 10 hours in, I was probably about right here. So, and that took me a ridiculously long time, and I was still really stressed out. So, yeah, I know, guys, I need to get used to trying to read the chat here. Let me catch up here. Yes, I'm doing good, and I hope you guys are doing well too. I had a really stressful holiday. Things don't really go very well for me for holidays wise. Things are kind of tough between me and my family. Can't get into it here publicly, but yeah, the holidays could kind of get a bit nuts for me. So I just spent it with like some, some pals and stuff, but yeah, I still had a good time though. So, but I think the last part of it, I was probably around right here, guys. So I was about like 60% of the way done, and it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I was just like, I can't go to bed because I don't have enough time. And I think I edited from 6 a.m. all the way till about 4 p.m. and got this final part done here. So if we look at the dialogue, this is where I was like mostly doing stuff, guys. So like all this dialogue, like all these cuts, that's kind of like the main shit I was doing there. So, all right, Guffy, that's fine. You can be right back. I don't care. That's fine. No, hun, I'm so glad that you're here. So I'm just glad I could show this to people. But And then like I know I had some questions about like the beginning part too. So I'll kind of show you guys that too. This part I kind of animated. So if I zoom in here, like you can see that whole part was kind of like animated together. Um, and I do this in two different ways. So I'll either use presets, which help me kind of do this a bit faster, or I'll do this by hand and I'll like keyframe all this stuff together. So that's how I do that. Now, if we scroll all the way to the end part here, right here, hold on. So see, like that will pop up. And with the text moving in, those are like things that are like pre-made, guys. So sometimes like for most projects I will do it myself, but if I'm like on a major time crunch, these are things that are like already like pre-made. So that's how I did that. But I think the bulk of the project was just trying to get all this audio put together. And so we recorded about, I think it was close to like 2 hours of stuff, guys. Like he and I were talking for a really long time. So what I do is I use Zoom. I don't want to use Zoom. Like I mostly just use Discord for like all this audio stuff. And I will talk to people on Discord. But since Robert doesn't have Discord, I didn't want to make him download it and do all that crap. So I had to use Zoom to make the call, and it was just kept crashing constantly, and it was so terrible. Like it was so unprofessional. I felt like I was like gonna cry because it was so embarrassing. And so the app kept crashing, and like God bless him so much. Like he was so patient, couldn't have been more professional. And after it crashed twice, and we were still recording it, we finally got it all done. And I knew like that's the one thing I kind of instinctively know. Like I know when I have all my shit. Like I know when I have everything I need to put something together. So and I can kind of gauge that just off knowing like how things are gonna fit, how I can like put things into place, and that's kind of how I structure them. When I was like trying to piece together the whole interview part, like here I'll bring this back on screen just to kind of like show you guys. So this whole beginning part here, hopefully there's no volume. Hold on. Let me try to see if I can pull this up here. So that whole part, and then it leads into it. So that whole part, I kind of just have an idea in my head, and that's kind of how I start. I always start with kind of like just a general like idea in my head, like how I want things to look and sound and feel. And I kind of just start like experimenting with like just like a bunch of shit until it gets to the point where I'm like, yeah. And so this is kind of the behind the scenes stuff of what he was doing, but I couldn't use it because the quality was so bad. And I was like, well, goddamn, like, what do I do? Because I needed to show that part. So I couldn't use it. And I still don't know why they had the quality so bad. But then I went and I had to, so I didn't like illegally download the movie, guys, because the movie's on YouTube. But I downloaded the movie and then I put all this stuff together here. So, and so this stuff looked a lot better. So, and yeah, I'm glad you liked it, guys. I'm really, really glad you liked it. That's kind of like the end all be all for me. Is like after I get something out the door and it's public and it's live, it's kind of like a mixed bag. You never know like how people are gonna respond to shit. But then once all this shit was done, and here, I don't know why that's not popping up, but yeah, I think once things are done, I just kind of sit and reflect, and there's not a whole lot I can do. It's more so like you just hope people like it, and that's all you can do. I've been doing this for so long that I kind of just instinctively know like how I think things are gonna be. I was talking to my good friend Amiko a couple days ago, and she texted me, and we've done a lot of stuff together. And she texted me and she's like, Misha, your shit is so good. I love how polished all your shit is. It is so freaking good. How do you do it? And I'm like, I don't know. I just try my best and hope it turns out well. So I've just been doing this for a really, really long time, and that's kind of how I gauge stuff. So I will come back up here. We'll come back to the main screen, but I hope that helps people kind of see like the process a tiny bit. Let me pop up some more of the interview questions here. Let me see. Let me go to a new one. So I'll go to his. No, that's Devin's. Hold on. Let me go to Robert's. No, hold on. I think it's this one. Yeah. All right. I'll pull this up on screen. So the first thing I had to do was, of course, I had to read his book. So that added to some of the time crunch for this. Was I had to read his whole book, which took me about maybe a week. And then I kind of had to skim through his entire book and kind of find the main talking points. So, like his time in the army and when he was on the dating game and his life on the farm and stuff like that. So, I would have to kind of like take stuff from the book, put it into here, and kind of like make all these questions. So, I'm getting better at like getting all the questions done and then kind of like going in that exact order. Sometimes I won't go in this exact order, like depending on how the conversation is going, I'll kind of just pick and choose. So, but yeah, that's kind of how I come up with the questions. Like when I'm going to talk to Barry this week, the next person I'm going to have on is my friend Barry. He knows Robert too, and so I sent him kind of like a itinerary of stuff that I need him to send me. So I need him to send me the photo he wants to show on screen. I told him I need kind of like a small bio of like everything he's done so I can put that on the in the marketing stuff. And I'll go into more about that, like how I do all the marketing for the show. Um, you guys are either gonna like this or you're not gonna like this. I actually use ChatGPT for like all the marketing stuff because it just makes it so much faster. So like all the Facebook posts, all the Instagram posts you see about the talk show, that's all done by ChatGPT. So I feel two ways about that. I'm really happy with it, but I'm like, I feel bad because it's made by ChatGPT. It's not directly made by me, but I put my own things in there to make it my own. So you can take it either way that you want. But yeah, that's why I'm kind of two minds. I'm like, should we use AI? Should we not use AI? I think we should. Honestly, AI, for me personally, it's helped me a lot. So it helps me get shit done a lot faster. Instead of like going into like Photoshop and then having to like put all this stuff together. So, but that's how I do all like the Facebook posts, all the Instagram posts. And so after I sent Barry the kind of the checklist of things I need, he's gonna get that back to me by Sunday, hopefully. Fingers crossed. And I even might push this week's episode back to Friday because I'm really tired, guys. I'm so tired. I'm so freaking so tired. It's a little bit insane for me. And I was joking with Tay. I don't know if Tay's still here. I was joking with Tay. I told her, before every interview, I think I'm gonna have to take a few shots of some goddamn some I'm gonna take I need to take something to calm my nerves. I need to take some shots or take a Xanax or I don't know, but I need to take something because my nerves just get so insane. I'm like I just need something to help calm me down. So but yeah, the show it's good. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I was talking to another friend of mine earlier this week, and they were like, "Man, I learned a lot from the new episode," and they were just like, "I'm glad you're kind of like incorporating parts where people can learn from and kind of take that with what they're watching." So that was kind of what I was hoping to get out of this. No, Tay, no, hun. I totally see you. I'm just not good at talking and trying to read the chat. So don't take that personally. I definitely see you guys. I'm just trying to learn how to read the chat and kind of talk better. So, uh, but yeah, I definitely need to take a few shots or something before I do this because it really stresses me out. So but yeah, I was talking to some of my other friends in the industry and they were just like they were just very happy with how it's coming along and how they thought that having it pre-recorded instead of going live just looks better, sounds better, and gives me a better opportunity to show people's work and what they're doing. And I'm just glad that it's being received well. I think it got almost 200 views on Facebook, which is like a huge deal for me. That is that's a lot. Oh, come on, Tay. It's fine. Uh, but but yeah, I know. I know, guys. I know I need to not get burnout. That's something I'm really bad about. I've always been bad about trying not to get burnout on stuff. But for me, I think that I am just such a workhorse that I once I start something, it's almost like this um impulse where I need to get stuff done. And I will just grind stuff out until they're done and then I feel way better. So um but yeah, that's just how I've always been. I would I'll just stay up all night, guys. I'll just stay up all night, running things through my mind and trying to prepare things the best I can. And that's just how I've always been. But I think that helps me because I get stuff done pretty fast. And, that's just always been kind of my process. And I know that some people might not like to hear that, and that might sound a bit borderline, maybe a little bit I guess ADHD or a bit OCD, but that's just who I am. I've always been that type of person where once I start something, I just need to get it done. So, but yeah, I'm excited to have my friend Barry come on next. It should be a good talk. He's from Kill Devil Hills um and he surfs. He's got a shop up there. He's done a lot of acting stuff. I've known him for a really long time, guys. I've known Barry for close to maybe 6+ years. We've known each other for a pretty long time. So and we just kind of have always done good stuff together. Yeah, thank you for putting that in the chat there for me. But yeah, so I think what we're gonna do this week is Barry's gonna get all that stuff sent to me this Sunday, hopefully, fingers crossed. and I'm probably gonna record something with him either Monday or Tuesday, and then I'll probably have next week's episode out by Friday. That's kind of what I'm kind of just seeing in my head, because I can't do like another 24-hour one, guys, because that just almost killed me. I definitely needed a little bit more time. But like, that was a little bit much. Like, I was really, really stressed, and I was like, ooh, I didn't give myself quite enough time as I thought. But yeah. Let me see if there's anything else I can show you guys. I don't want to show our like DMs with Barry and I, but no, I don't think I can do that. That's private. So, let me see if I can pop up some more of this stuff. Here, I'll show this on screen. But if I go back to here, let's zoom in here. So you see all this stuff? So I guess what I try to do is gauge the conversation and put these sort of where talking points that we were talking about. And that's kind of how I did that. But like I said, the main stuff was like all the audio down here, like, and so when I was recording this in Streamlabs, I put something into the software so where like my audio and his audio would be separated, so then I could go back and kind of like and then I could like adjust parts of his audio here and then adjust parts of my audio. And guys, I almost had a freaking heart attack. So when I first got the recording done, the audio wasn't like popping up for me. Here, I'll go back to here, but the audio wasn't quite popping up for me. I almost died, guys. I was like, I couldn't hear either my audio or his audio, and I was like, there's no freaking way I can record all that over again. And I was just like, but then I found the second part of it and I was fine, but I had the worst anxiety attack of my entire life because I was like, holy fuck, what am I gonna do? And I'm like, I don't want to call him back, and I don't want to be like, hey, I need you to come back and we need to record the whole thing. So but thankfully, like, it all came together and it all worked out. I know. I know. I definitely need to. I'm kind of a huge stress magnet. So, that's kind of been my probably the one thing I'm just not good about is that I do stress out a little bit too much. So, and that's something that I always have had difficulty with. But it all came together though. And Robert and I were talking about this after we recorded everything, and I told him, I said, I'm kind of glad that this ended up happening, because if the live stream just worked out normally, I don't think this would have like looked as good, sounded as good. I think the fact that some things in life do happen and you just kind of have to roll with the punches. And I told Robert, because of these technical issues, we wouldn't have improved the podcast to where it is now. And he definitely agreed with me on that. So I think my biggest takeaway that I can give advice for people on stuff like that is that if they have things like that come up in their job or in their life where things don't go according to plan, just roll with the punches, pray to God, and tell yourself it's going to be okay, because sometimes the way you want things to work out don't, but then they end up turning out a lot better for you. So that's kind of the biggest takeaway I could take from this project, was that when we started it, I didn't expect it to kind of evolve the way it did, and if those things didn't happen, then it wouldn't have gotten better to where it came out to be. So, and when I got the whole project done, guys, like, there was this sense of like euphoria, and that's kind of how I always feel after I get done with stuff, is that there's a great sense of pride. For one, I feel great when things come out good. And it makes me feel a lot better, makes me feel a lot more confident in like what I'm trying to do for people. But I think it just helps me understand, like, sometimes in life things aren't going to go according to plan, but I'm glad things still got done. So so yeah. But I don't know how many of you are still here. If you are, say hi. But yeah, I am glad everything worked out too. And that's the best advice I can give to people, because um you just never know how life's gonna play out, and like, you can't just give up like when things don't go according to plan. And a lot of things with this did not go according to plan. Like, a lot of shit was constantly either not working right, or the streaming software would crash all the time, or just having to re-record so much of my dialogue. I think it all was kind of like building up to like getting this done. And then I think the second main thing I can comment on is, like, if this stuff was so easy to make, you wouldn't feel that sense of accomplishment. So um yeah, I think that in life, sometimes, in order to have that sense of accomplishment given to you, things have to be hard, guys. Like, things aren't gonna just be black and white all the time. Things You're gonna have to go through challenges to get stuff done. I mean, and that's just the number one thing I can just take away from this, is that regardless of what life throws your way, you just have to try your best. So, but other than that, I think that going forward, I'm definitely gonna give myself a little bit more time just to piece stuff together. And then once I get that done, you know, hopefully things will come out the same way. I'm going to use kind of the same template of what I had today that I was showing you guys. And I'm going to just piece together the show that way, and try to keep it the same style. Yeah, I do need to be a little bit, yeah, you need to be flexible enough to take different, to take different parts of it together. And I'm so glad to see Doom here tonight. Here, I'll show Doom some of my post production stuff, since I know he's big into that. So this is the whole podcast here, man. So this is like a full hour long, and then I was zooming in down here and showing people that most of it was like just trying to cut all the audio stuff together. But I had to re-record so much of my dialogue. It was just nuts, because I was so nervous when I was talking to him, and so yeah, a lot of it was just adjusting all that. But then you have all these tiny parts here that I had to like add in, and stuff. And then I was saying earlier, a lot of this stuff I had to scan from his book and then put that all in there too. But yeah, the whole process alone took almost, not exactly 24 hours, but it was close, guys. It was close. Um it took maybe like 16 hours. So, which was a lot for me. And but like I said, I'm definitely going to give myself more time overall. Let me show some of the scripts parts, because I know Doom definitely wants to see this here. I'll pop that part up here. So Doom, these are kind of like some of the interview questions I had, and I already kind of talked about this, but I'll just say it again so you can hear it. So after I read his book, then I had to kind of go through chapter by chapter and take kind of the main talking points from what I was getting. And knowing him, I just had to combine those two together. And then I think I tried to hit about 20 questions or so, and I did add like 5 more at the end. And so these last 3 or so, these were not in the main draft that I had. I threw these in pretty close to the final day before we shot stuff, and I tossed those in, and then I kind of like will kind of mentally arrange them based off like how the conversation goes and stuff. And then he sent me all this on Facebook. And then I was going to have a point where I talked about mine as well, but we just didn't get to it. We just didn't get to it. And then that's kind of another big thing that I can mention, is that as a professional editor, I'll even show this to you guys so you kind of get what I mean here. So if I pop this back up, and I wish I had more of the whole dialogue to show you, just to kind of like show you what I mean. Since it's so cut up, I just like, so you have to find parts that you know that are just going to snap together pretty quickly. And that's kind of the main thing that I do, is that I really try not to have parts of dialogue that I know that will go on for too long. And so see, there's a part where I had to re-record something there. And then there's a tiny bit there. And there's a tiny bit there. But yeah, all this stuff was mainly what I was trying to get done. So all this top stuff was just the main track, and then either my audio or his audio, and then all the main stuff like on top of that. And I'll go back here and I'll show you guys the beginning part here. Let me get this to work here. So that was animated by me. And I kind of put that together with like different stuff. That took about maybe 15 minutes. It didn't take too long. It didn't take too long. But then if I'm going to take parts like from somebody's film or their like project, I will download it. And so I downloaded this from YouTube, and these all came from his book on Amazon. So I would take screenshots from his from like the Kindle app or something, and then I would put those on my Google Drive, and then I would download them from there, and that's how I did that. But yeah, that's kind of the whole overall process, guys. But yeah, I'm glad I get to show you guys this. I'm glad that you guys get to hear kind of like my thoughts and how I go about doing it. It's definitely not easy. So far, this is the third kind of talk show / podcast I've done. I've done 2 other actual talk shows before this. I did or wait, was it 2 or 3? I can't remember. I've done like 2 or 3 more uh talk shows where I would film people and they would come over to my place and we would film, and then I would have to cut all that together and put that out. But the thing with this is it's all done like virtually. So I can just talk to people from home and do it that way. But I was telling a friend of mine this a couple of days ago, and they asked me, do you think it's different doing this show compared to like doing a talk show, like where you have people come over and you film them and shit like that? Um, and I told them, no, it's pretty much the same. My dream interview. I would think that would be with probably Steven Spielberg. So I think just getting the opportunity to pick his brain would probably be like a huge goal of mine, is just talking to him. There was one part of the interview that not saying I had to cut this out. There's one part where Robert did speak to Spielberg after they shot stuff together, and he wrote in his book, and I've known him a long time, and so he's told me this before on a talk show I had him on before. He said that he and Spielberg got to talk, and he kind of keeps that conversation private. He kind of just keeps that personal to himself, as kind of like a special like memento. I don't know what Spielberg said to him or what they talked about, but I know it meant a lot to him. And I think the fact that he got to work with somebody like Steven Spielberg is just absolutely amazing. So if I had to pick anybody to talk to, it would definitely be him. I would love to pick his brain so goddamn badly, because he's so good. So and if I had to pick another person, I would pick Tim Burton probably, and talk to him. I would love to pick that dude's brain too. And of course, Johnny Depp. So, you guys know I love Johnny Depp. I joke with all of you saying I got a huge man crush on him, and yeah, I do. I would love to talk to Johnny Depp. I don't know what I would. I don't know what I would ask him though. I would definitely have to take some time to think about that. I know what I would say to Spielberg and Tim Burton. I don't know what exactly I would talk to Johnny Depp about. So, but yeah, those would be my top 3 if I had to pick people that I would just love to talk to and kind of like get to know them more, get to know their process, or what they do. Those would be the top 3. But yeah, that's kind of the whole process for me, guys. But other than that, if I had to pick one more person, let me see. If I really had to pick one more person, I would either talk to, I would talk to, I would talk to Nolan. So I would talk to the guy who made like the Dark Knight, the Batman movies, him. I would talk to Nolan. I would love to sit down and talk to him. He just, everything he does is very identical to kind of like how I try to pace things and stuff like that. So I was talking to a friend of mine about this yesterday, the day before, and I was talking with her, and she's like, the fact that you can like have this like style, or she described it as I have this polish to my stuff, and she was trying to get me to tell her like, how do I get this like polish to a lot of my stuff that I do, and I really didn't have a good answer. Oh yeah, also with him, with Del Toro. Oh yeah, I would love to talk to him. My God, I think I'm gonna mentally kick off Nolan and just bring in Del Toro. Like, I would love to talk to him. He seems like he seems like a very personable guy, and I think another person I would talk to is Rob Zombie. I love him, and he started out as kind of a kind of in the indie scene too before he got his first big deal with Universal, I think. So just I would love to talk to him too, but yeah, I think I'm gonna mentally kick off Nolan and put in Del Toro. So, but did you guys enjoy his new film that he did? I still need to go back and rewatch it, but if you guys have seen it, let me know in the comments if it was good. So, I need to refresh my Netflix account, so that's why I haven't checked it out yet. Oh yeah, yeah, Tay. Inception is so good. I think I was actually gonna watch that yesterday. Like, so I was just about to, but then something came up. So, but yeah, I think overall, I think my biggest thing I can tell people is if you want to do a podcast, so I'm not going to say do a talk show because doing a talk show, it's a little bit more, there's a lot more moving parts. If you want to do a good podcast, get some friends together that you know and just get some good audio, get some good equipment, and find a good talking point. So like you need something like a theme or something like that. Uh yeah, Dunkirk. I still need to watch that one. That's still kind of like on my list of stuff I still need to watch. I haven't watched Dunkirk yet. And that's something I'm not good about is that there's a ton of like really good movies that I have not seen. Like I haven't seen Apocalypse Now. I haven't seen the movie. I haven't seen the movie called Alien yet, which I know so many people have seen that. I can't believe I haven't seen that yet. I love James Cameron, and I haven't watched Alien yet, or I haven't watched Aliens yet either. So I need to get to those. I'm trying to think of some other films that I haven't watched yet that I need to. Um, there's a lot that I just haven't gotten around to. Like I haven't watched there's a lot that I won many awards that I just haven't gotten around to yet. But but yeah, so those are the main people I would love to talk to, love to sit down and just talk to them. But anyway, guys, I think this is where I'm gonna wrap things up here tonight. I'm glad you guys came in. I'm glad you guys came in to watch this. I'm sorry that there were some audio problems, but I got it all taken care of. I'm glad it turned out good. I'm just glad you guys are here. So it's so great. All right, guys.